So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of the most critical, but also one of the most misunderstood roles in any veterinary clinic, the person at the front desk. We're going to get into what's really happening right there at the gateway to animal care. You know, when you think about a vet receptionist, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Probably answering phones, maybe scheduling appointments, right? It seems pretty straightforward. But what if I told you that simple picture is not just wrong, it's dangerously incomplete? Because here's the staggering reality. Over half of all veterinary receptionists, or as they're often called, client service representatives, they leave their jobs in less than 2 years. I mean, think about that. This isn't just high turnover. This is a full-blown retention crisis. And it points to something way, way deeper going on. And look, this massive rate of burnout isn't happening because of the people in the role. It's happening because the entire system they're forced to operate in is fundamentally misunderstood and, frankly, undersupported. So, to really get a handle on this crisis, we first have to understand the true complexity of the job itself, because it is so much more than just admin work. In fact, a much better title for this role might be the human systems architect. That's because this person is juggling 3 completely distinct high-stakes systems all at the same time. Let's break down what those are. Okay, first up, they are the clinic's emotional regulator. Just imagine the sheer range of human feeling they deal with every single day. One minute they're consoling a family, saying goodbye to a beloved pet, and the next they're de-escalating a client's anger over a bill. They are, for all intents and purposes, the clinic's emotional shock absorber. Second, they're the clinic's communication bridge. A vet might explain a complex medical procedure, but it's almost always the person at the front desk who has to translate that into plain English a worried owner can actually process. Getting that wrong has huge consequences, so this is an incredibly high-skill job. And on top of all that, they're the workflow stabilizer. As the operational gatekeeper, they aren't just plugging appointments into a calendar. Oh no, they're managing the entire flow of patients, triaging calls, and basically protecting the time and focus of the medical team. The clinic's efficiency literally rests on their shoulders. So, when someone in this incredibly complex role finally burns out and leaves, the fallout is massive. This is what some call the front desk fracture, and you can feel its impact right on the clinic's bottom line. This fracture isn't some abstract idea. It has very real costs. A burnt-out CSR makes a simple scheduling mistake. The clinic loses billable hours. A difficult financial conversation gets mishandled. Revenue starts to slip away. And when all those little admin tasks start getting pushed onto the vets and techs, the entire medical team just grinds to a halt. This isn't a soft HR problem. It's a hard economic risk. But here's the thing. All this pressure, it isn't just coming from inside the clinic walls. To really understand why these folks are burning out, we need to zoom way out and look at the huge forces squeezing the entire veterinary industry. The whole industry is caught in this massive squeeze, right? On one side, the market is just exploding. More pets, more spending, more demand for care than ever before. But on the other side, the workforce is actually shrinking. We're talking hundreds of federally recognized veterinary shortage areas across the country. It's a perfect storm of soaring demand and crashing supply. And this isn't just some random market fluke. It's a public policy problem. You've got education policies that limit the number of new vets and techs. You've got economic policies driving inflation, which makes every client conversation about money that much harder. And then you have regulatory policies that make it tough for staff to move where they're needed most. These are big structural issues. So what on earth does all of this have to do with the person answering the phone at your local clinic? Well, it turns out, everything. They are the human point of impact where all of these systemic failures come crashing down. This quote just nails it. The CSR is the single point where massive, abstract forces like national economic trends or debates over student loans meet the very real, very personal interaction with a single, stressed-out client and their sick pet. They effectively become the system's policy buffer. They're the ones who have to explain to a client that the wait is 3 hours because of a nationwide staffing shortage. They're the ones who have to explain why a procedure costs what it does in an inflationary economy. They are literally absorbing the failures of the entire system, and that is why they burn out. Okay, so if this is a systems problem, then the solution has to be a systemic one, and it starts not with some new law, but with a whole new way of looking at the role itself. The big shift we need to make is right here. We have to stop seeing this as an entry-level administrative stepping stone job. The strategic reality is that this is a systems critical position that demands an incredible mix of logistical, emotional, and communication expertise. And that's why just throwing more money at the problem won't fix it. The real solution is a fundamental change in professional identity, recognizing this role for the strategic profession it already is, and then backing that up with the training, the empowerment, and the respect it deserves. So I'll leave you with this question. After seeing how this one role stabilizes the clinic's workflow, manages the emotional core of the client experience, and absorbs all these massive systemic pressures, is the person at the front desk really doing an entry-level job? Or are they actually performing the most critical function in the entire building? Thanks for tuning in.